All right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Lunar Flow. For those who are joining from YouTube or Instagram Live, please find my Spotify playlist called Lunar Flow with Nina. And press play from the beginning and just make sure that it is not on shuffle. All right. Let's go ahead and get started by finding a comfortable seated position on our mats. Keeping our eyes closed or keeping a soft gaze on the still point in front of us. Sitting in whatever seated position feels like it works the best for us in this moment. It doesn't need to be cross-legged. It can be whatever feels good to your body right now. Even if that means laying down. Taking this moment just to check in with ourselves. How do I want to start off class right now? Do I want to sit up or do I want to lay down? And no matter where you are, if you are seated or laying down, just seeing if you can relax the shoulders away from the ears. Doing a self-scan of the body from the crown of the head, moving down towards the toes, and just checking in with yourself of what areas feel tense in this moment. And if any of those areas of tension are caused by us unknowingly clenching, take this moment just to gently release, being kind to yourself. Not judging or labeling for having tension in the first place, but simply just adding some compassion into those spaces. And if there are areas of tension that we are not really in control of, which can often be a lot of the tension that we feel, then simply just observing what specific sensations we're feeling. What type of tension is it? Is it a pulling? Is it a pushing? Is it a pressure? Does it feel warm? Does it feel cool? How big is this area? We're not judging or labeling anything as good or bad, right or wrong right now. We're simply just observing. We're staying with these areas that feel tense, and we're really looking into them even deeper. What happens if you stay with that area that you are focusing on right now? Does the tension grow? Does the tension get smaller? Does it stay the same? Is it traveling? So just take the next few moments just to follow a sensation. And if it doesn't go anywhere, then that's okay. There aren't any rules here. Noticing what happened with that awareness that we brought. And sometimes it doesn't result in anything, and that's okay. This is part of the practice of connecting our mind and our body. Becoming aware of what we can't rationalize necessarily, or what we can't think away about. Just simply noticing the somatics of what is happening. And oftentimes, we aren't even aware of what is happening on the inside. So just simply taking a few moments, either just on the mat or even in your everyday life, to just take a moment to ask yourself, what am I feeling right now in my body, without any judgment or labeling, can do wonders for really connecting our mind and our body, and just feeling that union. So today is the waning crescent moon. So the crescent moon can be waxing or waning. Waning means that the moon is getting smaller, and not physically smaller, but the illumination that we see is getting smaller and smaller because we are very close to the new moon, which is dark, right? The full moon is the fullest illumination possible for the moon, and the new moon is the complete opposite. It is the darkest. There's like no illumination. This can be depicted as being seen as black in images, whereas the full moon is more of that white-gray illumination. So the waning crescent comes right before the new moon. So we're really getting rid of a lot of that illumination and that brightness in the sky that we see. And then after the new moon, we start to build brightness, right, leading up to that full moon. Waning crescent moons are all about rest and relaxation, restoring ourselves. And so we will be partaking in a yin practice today. And the moon is also in the sign of Gemini. So that's kind of funny in ways, because Gemini is known to be the chatty, the sociable, the high communication, the high curiosity, the high learning sign. So it's not to say that we can't have both at the same time. So something I want us to focus on today that can be kind of used as an intention is around the theme of communication. But I want us to bring that inwards to really align with this yin practice, and to really notice how we communicate with ourselves. And once again, the idea of this practice is not to judge ourselves or to shame ourselves if we are critical to ourselves, which is a very human experience that we all experience. So it's not to shame ourselves, it's simply to just be aware of how do we really communicate to ourselves. You know, not focusing today on how we communicate to others, which is also very, very, very important, but to kind of see how we communicate to ourselves. So as we move through our practice, I'm going to have us check in and just in different given moments, just ask ourselves, what am I saying to myself right now? And sometimes we're not saying anything to ourselves. Sometimes we're kind of drifting off, or our minds wander to other things that are outside of ourselves. But in that space, we can always add in affirmations to ourselves. So we don't want to over add in affirmations to the point that we don't face any sort of negative feelings that come up, or any sort of other self-talk, but we can always incorporate affirmations, right? And the more that we incorporate affirmations, the more that we actually can train ourselves to believe those as well. And not only believe them, but to live them, right? We actually feel like we're living them. So to wrap that up today, we're going to move through our practice, and I'm going to have us check in with what we are saying to ourselves. And then I'm going to have us add a statement of compassion to ourselves that can be of your choosing. So it could be something like, I am doing the best I can right now on my mat. Or I am doing something kind for myself right now. Or I am loving and kind, right? So it can be any variation of that. So let's take a moment right now just to think of a few positive statements that we can think of for ourselves. It can be anything. It doesn't have to be anything grand. It could be simply of, I'm proud of myself for coming to my yoga practice today. I'm here, I'm native. I am strong. I am capable. It could even be, I'm human. Maybe it involves self-forgiveness of, I am human and I'm being human right now. So think of maybe one or two statements that you can incorporate as we move through our practice today, and just silently repeat that to yourself when we get to those moments. And slowly start to come back, holding those statements in the heart. We'll come back to those throughout practice. And just starting to add some gentle movement into the body. So maybe that involves rolling the shoulders, giving them some nice rolls going back. Maybe it involves rolling the shoulders forward. Maybe it involves just moving the arms in circles. So this feels extra good if the shoulders are tight, to actually move the arms in big circles. They don't have to be fast. It's really nice to kind of open up the shoulders. And then reverse directions. If your arms are wide, just go in the other direction. Oh yeah, this feels good. I didn't even realize how tight my shoulders were until this. And then bring the arms up, interlace the hands, and then flip the palm out. And just stretch up. Just pretend like you're trying to touch the ceiling with your palm, stretching up, 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 up. And then relaxing the shoulders down away from the ears. Stretch up again. And relax the shoulders away from the ears. All right, and release the hands down. So you notice that last week I kind of incorporated a very short repetitive movement, actually a Kundalini movement to kind of warm up the body. So I'm going to do something similar today. It's not intensive. It can stay seated. I'm sitting on the edge of a block. So if you want to sit on the edge of a block or a blanket or a meditation cushion or a bolster pillow, you can grab that right now. It's funny, my advanced yoga teacher trainers kind of call this washing machine, which I think is pretty funny. But I'll just kind of show you what it looks like. So you have kind of the hands out in cactus arms. I like to do the Gyan Mudra, which is the thumb and the index fingers, and you kind of go left and right. You can see here, I'm not trying to move the whole body. I'm trying to isolate it to the upper body. This is actually a really great heart opener. So I'm just kind of showing you what the movement looks like. It's really nice to add breath to this. So really incorporating that breath. So what you do is you inhale to your left, exhale to your right. Inhale to your left, exhale to your right. Okay, so go ahead and just start. You can go at whatever pace feels good to you. If the arms ever feel too tired, feel free to bring it down. You can take a break or you can keep going. But this really is nice to open up the spine, to open up the heart, and to really get that prana, that life force moving. Right, so we're also building a very healthy amount of heat in the body, right, before we kind of go into our standing practice. So inhaling left, exhaling right. And if you want to go a little quicker, feel free to go quicker. If you want to go slower, you can go slower. You can even close the eyes and just notice what is happening in the body. So we'll do this for about a minute total. So just keep going. a nice way to link the breath to movement as well. It's really good to really open up any dormant energy in the body that has been laying there, and releasing any tightness as well. So there's many, many, many benefits. Keep going, we're almost there. If your arms get tired, feel free to bring them down. Ten more seconds. Come back to center, raise the arms up, suspend the inhale. Inhale and hold that inhale. Squeeze the pelvic floor, squeeze the belly button to the navel. Breathing, breathing, breathing here. And release. All right, beautiful. Little taste of Kundalini there. All right, so Kundalini is amazing in that we can stay seated and do a lot of really powerful, energetic work in the body. It doesn't even require doing any chaturanga, so it's really great. So I'm really excited to incorporate more and more of these small previews of Kundalini into this class. All right, hopefully we feel good. Let's kind of shake the arms out. So shake the arms out, just shake them, kind of get any of that tension. All right, and let's come up onto our mats, getting ready to start our Chandra Namaskar, our moon salutation. So you can see here, I'm standing facing the long edge of the mat. So a little bit different from a typical vinyasa class. I'm standing right in the middle. My toes are a little, not quite touching, they're a little bit apart. So I want you to feel stable here. Okay, so feel stable, standing tall. Let's start off in mountain pose, Tadasana. Palms are facing the front, shoulders relaxed. Just taking this moment to root down into our feet. Noticing if we're rocking forward or rocking back. Just trying to find that center line of gravity in both of our feet. All right, and let's go ahead and get started. Inhale the arms up to the sky, interlacing all of our fingers except for the index fingers. Relaxing the shoulders down away from the ears. Inhale everything up, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze up. Exhale over to your right. Pushing the hips out towards the left. Breathing here, keep that breath moving. Do not hold in the breath, important to keep the flow. And inhale back to center. Exhale the shoulders back down. Inhale everything back up. Exhale over to your left. Pushing the hips out through the right. Keep that breath moving. And inhale back to center. Release the hands, the palms facing the ground, and bring them down slowly in a circle. You might even feel sensations around your palms as you do this. This is almost like a Tai Chi move, actually, which is also a beautiful way for a moving meditation. All right, so bring it down, letting all of that energy discharge out through the fingertips. All right, so now we're going to move into Utkatta Konasana, goddess pose. So my feet are out wider than my hips, toes are pointing out, heels are more in. Inhale the arms up to the sky. Exhale as you sink down. Sink those hips down as to whatever comfortable of a level feels good for you. Inhale, straighten everything. Exhale, lower. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, lower. Beautiful. Really getting into those hips. And then inhale, straighten. Bring the arms out to the side, palms facing down. Turn those right toes to face the front. Turn those left toes to face the left. So your feet are facing different directions. Kick your hips, your left hip into your right, and reach out with your left hand like you're reaching for something. Reaching, reaching, reaching. When you can't reach anymore, that left arm comes down towards the mat, a block, a pillow, maybe your leg, the right arm goes up to the sky. Coming into triangle, Utthita Trikonasana. Gaze can look up or gaze can come down. Feel free to bend one or both knees. So I'm going into pretty detailed instruction for this first round of moon salutations. I just want you to tune in to, what can be modified here for you. And then the second round will be a little bit quicker, and we can incorporate those modifications that felt good this round. Breathing here, and gently come back up. All right, so now we're going to fully pivot to the left edge of our mat. Bring your feet out wider. So I have my left foot kind of hugging the left edge of my mat, the right foot hugging the right edge. Both of your toes are facing the left edge, coming into pyramid pose, Parsvattanasana. Options here, you can place your hands on your hips, you can grab opposite elbows behind your back, or you can come into hidden prayer if the shoulders feel open. Okay, so hidden prayer is bringing the palms to touch behind the back, elbows out. Find what works for you right now. There's no right or wrong here, just what works for you. Inhale the heart open to the sky. Exhale as you forward fold, bringing the crown of the head towards the mat, relaxing the neck down. Feel free to bend one or both legs. If it feels better for you to bring the hands down to the mat, if the shoulders are just really feeling pretty tight today, that's okay too. You can even bring your hands to a block. So feel free to get creative with what works for you. The way that I'm doing this, on video is not the right way for everybody, right? So finding what works for you here and where you are. Keep that breath moving, important to not hold in the breath. Relaxing the neck down, give the neck a rest. And very, very, very gently come all the way up. Releasing the arms to the side and coming down onto the mat. Bringing that right knee down. So I'm sliding that right knee back and down. If you want to roll up your mat or to place anything underneath that right knee, you are more than welcome to do so. If you're like, this just is not working for me, feel free to just kind of go, if it feels better for you to kind of just go right on the knee or to just completely not do this, that's also okay. But this is Anjaneyasana. This is crescent moon lunge. Your knee is allowed to go as far past your left ankle as possible here. Options here, arms can be up towards the sky, arms can be back behind you, or you can even interlace your hands behind you and open up the shoulders more. Wherever you are, see if you can just push down into that left foot. Okay, really working into the hips. So breathe in here. Keep that breath moving. If you want to do a little back bend, you're more than welcome to do that. Keep the breath moving. Find your comfort level here. Or if what you want to do is push a tiny bit past that, that's also okay. Or if you want to step back, that's also okay. There's no right or wrong here. There's only what works for you. And gently rise back up, releasing the hands. Bring the hands to the inside of that left foot and gently use the hands to come into ninja, what I call ninja at least. So I'm on the ball of my left foot. My right leg is extended, my right foot is flexed. I'm now facing that long edge of my mat again that we started off with. Okay, so this is, as you can tell, we're doing a lot of nice hip opening in the moon salutations, really embodying that yin energy, which traditionally is seen as feminine energy, okay, according to the Eastern philosophies that utilize yin. So option here to come into a balance, you can come into full prayer or hidden prayer. Option to not do that at all, just keep that breath moving here, woo. And if you wiggle like I am and fall forward, you just get back up if you want to have fun with it. And then gently release your hands. Use the hands to come onto the other leg. So just switching. Extending that left leg, left foot is flexed. You're on the ball or the flat part of your right foot. Option to try balancing here. Balancing is really good for our core. So if you want to just add a tiny bit of core work, you can always add in a little bit of balancing. Breathing here wherever you are. Then on the next breath, release the hands and now pivot yourself to the right edge of your mat. Bring your left knee down. Feel free to mirror what you did on the other side if you want to use props at all, if you want to use a pillow or a blanket, or you just want to kind of adjust your positioning, or if you just want to kind of sit this one out, that's totally okay. This isn't necessarily nice for everyone. And see if you want to do the same thing with your arms that you did on the other side, or check in to see if you want to try something different. Right? We do have 2 more opportunities to do this as we complete the second half, so don't worry if you are missing out on something that you might want to try. You'll get 2 other chances to try something new each time. Breathing here wherever you are. Feel free to do a little back bend if that feels good for you to open up the back. Also to open up and expand the chest. Breathing here. And gently come back up, releasing the hands. Use the hands to come back up onto your feet for pyramid, Parsvattanasana. I'm going to separate my feet a little bit more away from each other. And you want to widen the feet to add a stable base. So my left foot and my right foot are both facing the same edge, but my right foot is hugging the right side of my mat. My left foot is hugging my left side of my mat. So they're kind of creating a bit of a stable foundation. Option here is to, once again, you can come into hidden prayer, opposite elbows or hands on your hips, whatever feels good to you. You can try something new if that's what you would like. Inhaling the heart open to the sky. Exhaling as you fold all the way down, bringing the crown of the head towards the mat. Shoulders away from the ears, bending one or both knees if that feels good to you. You can even bring the hands down to the mat to release the shoulders. See if you can relax the neck. Breathing here, keeping that breath moving. And on the next breath, very gently rise back up and gently release the hands to the side. Now, very gently bring the feet a little bit more in line with one another as we prepare for triangle. My right foot is going to remain facing the right edge of my mat. My left foot is now going to face the left side of me, or the kind of the long edge, the front edge of my mat. So both feet are facing different directions. Arms out to the side. Kick that right hip into the left hip. Reach out with your right hand like someone's trying to hand you something. Reach, 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 reach. When you can't reach anymore, that right hand comes down towards the mat, left arm comes up. Feel free to use blocks to add some elevation to your right hand if you want to place it on something. You can also place the right hand on the leg if that feels good to you. See if you can open the heart a little bit more towards the sky. So you don't need to bring the gaze up. You can keep the gaze down. But see if you can just gently, even if it's a micro inch, moving the heart towards the sky. Getting a tiny bit of a spinal twist here. Breathing here wherever you are. Keep that breath moving. And on the next breath, gently rise back up. Now we're going to come into Goddess, Utkatta Konasana. So my feet are wider than my hips. My feet are pointing out. My heels are more in. Kind of like I'm in a ballet, feet out, heels in. Inhale the arms up to the sky. Exhale, sink down. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, sink down. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, sink down. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bring the arms down, palms down, forming a circle. Taking your time, controlling the movement. And then you can bring those feet in to the center. Inhaling the arms up to the sky, interlace all fingers except for the index, shoulders away from the ears. Inhale everything up. Exhale over to your right, hips out towards the left. Inhale back to center. Exhale, shoulders down. Inhale everything up. Exhale over to your left. Inhale back to center and release the hands down, painting a circle down. Separate the feet about hips width apart. Option here, you can bring the palms to the heart or keep the palms to the side. Gently close your eyes or keep a soft gaze open. And notice the dialogue with yourself in this very moment. We're not judging or labeling. We're not quickly trying to change the dialogue. We're simply observing what is being communicated right now to myself, if there is any communication to myself. We're simply just noticing what is quick to come up when I become aware of my thoughts, what type of communication seems to want to come up immediately. How am I speaking to myself? Just taking this moment to observe. Not judge, not label, just observe. And now I want you, or I would like for you, to just gently repeat to yourself one or two of those affirmations that you thought of at the beginning of class. And it's okay if you have changed what you want to say. It could simply be that I am trying my best right now, or I am listening to my body. I am trying to be present. Whatever it is, repeat that to yourself in this very moment. Adding those into the stream of thoughts that are coming up right now. We're adding in some gentle self-love and self-compassion. Maybe repeat those one more time, each if there are more than one. Then gently blink open the eyes or widen the eyes if they're semi-closed. And we'll finish out the second round of Chandra Namaskar and go the other way first. So bring the feet closer together. They don't need to be touching. We're going to move a little bit quicker through this second side. And this time I want you to really just tune into what your body needs in each asana. Okay, so there's no rules here. You can do whatever feels good for yourself, whatever your body tells you that needs to be done in that moment. Inhale, the arms up, interlacing all fingers except for index, shoulders down away from the ears. Inhale everything up. Exhale over to your left, hips out to the right. And inhale back to center, exhale back down. Inhale everything up. Exhale over to your right, hips out to the left. And inhale back to center. Exhale, releasing the hands down. Feet coming out wider than the hips into goddess, toes out, heels in. Inhaling the arms up. Exhaling, sink down. And we're going to sit here just a tiny bit longer. Just going to do one sinking. So sit here, breathing here. Shoulders away from the ears. And inhale, straighten. Exhale the arms out to the side. Right toes face the right, left toes face in front of you. Preparing for triangle. Kick your right hip into your left. Reach out with your right hand. Reaching, reaching, reaching. Right arm coming down towards the ground, left arm up. Feel free to adjust your gaze. Props here. You can bend one or both knees. Just making sure to keep the breath moving. See if you can gently open the heart to the sky in whatever capacity you have right now. And gently rise back up. Pivot the body to the right side of the mat. Widen the feet to hug the edges of the mat. And you can also bring the feet apart from each other a little bit wider. Parsvattanasana, pyramid pose. Find a positioning for your hands that feels good to you, or if you want to try something new. Inhale the heart open to the sky. Exhale as you forward fold. Feeling free to modify as needed. See if you can relax the shoulders away from the ears and let the head and neck just hang. Releasing the jaw too, separating the teeth. But otherwise, adjusting other parts of your body as needed. Breathing here. And gently, gently, gently rise up, taking your time, gently releasing the hands from where they were, and coming down onto the mat, lowering that left knee or modifying it any way that you need. Coming into Anjaneyasana, crescent lunge, finding a placement for your hands. Breathing here, keep the breath moving as you press into that right foot. And gently release the arms down on the inside of that right foot and gently rotate to the long edge, extending that left leg, flexing that left foot. You're on the ball or the flat foot of your right foot. Option to find balance here for some core stability, core challenge, if that calls to you right now. Breathing here. And gently use the hands to walk over to the other side, coming onto your left foot, extending out that right leg. Option to try balancing here. Keep that breath moving. And on the next breath, release the hands down as you pivot to the left edge of your mat, bringing that right knee down. Anjaneyasana, other side. Finding placement for the hands. Breathing here wherever you are as you sink them to that left foot. Keep that breath moving. And gently come up. Use the hands to help you come onto your feet. Widen the feet to the edges of your mat, and you can separate them a little bit wider from each other, lengthwise. Coming up into pyramid Parsvattanasana, finding a placement for your hands. Breathing here, inhaling the heart open to the sky, exhaling as you forward fold, letting the head and the neck relax. Let them relax, shoulders away from the ears. Feel free to modify as needed in each second. You can change your mind on modifications as you try them. Keep that breath moving here and flowing. And on the next breath, gently, gently, gently rise back up, releasing the hands. You can widen the feet a little bit wider and bring them more in line with each other. Left foot facing the left, right foot facing the long edge. Arms out to the side, preparing for triangle. Left hip into the right, reaching out with that left hand, reaching, reaching, reaching. Left hand moves towards the ground, right arm up. Feel free to adjust as needed here. Wherever you are, if there's capacity, seeing if you can bring the heart towards the sky just a little bit more. And you can modify as needed in the legs, the arms, there's no rules here. You can bring the gaze down, gaze up. Keep that breath moving wherever you are. And gently, gently, gently rise up. And facing the long edge of the mat, your toes are out, heels are in, wider than your hips. Goddess, last goddess. Inhale the arms up to the sky. Exhale as you sink down. Sink down, breathing here. Last time in goddess, maybe sinking down even half an inch if you can. And inhale, straighten. Exhale, release the arms down as you gently bring the feet together. I'm kind of toe heeling them together. Feels kind of nice. Inhaling the arms up to the sky, interlacing all fingers except for the index. Shoulders away from the ears. Inhale it all up. Exhale over to your left. Hips out to the right. Inhale back to center. Exhale the shoulders down. Inhale everything up. Exhale over to your right. Hips out to the left. I'm sorry if I switched the sides. Just do the other side that you were not doing before. And inhale back to center. Exhale, slowly, slowly. Move the palms away, painting a circle down. Noticing what you feel, if you feel anything around your hands as you slowly bring them down. This can be acknowledged as energy discharging from the body. If our fingertips feel tingles at the end, of course, without ruling out anything else, but everything is clear in our internal world, then that can really be seen as energy discharging, leaving the body, which is beautiful. If energy can freely leave our body, doesn't get stuck or trapped in our body. So doing slow movements like this really help us to identify if energy is leaving the body. Beautiful. Take a big sigh out. Separate the feet ever so slightly. You can bring the palms together at the heart, hands to the side. Close the eyes and simply notice how you are communicating to yourself, or just what communication is coming up right now. What wants to be heard right now? We're not judging or labeling our thoughts right now. We're simply just observing. And we're not necessarily immediately believing everything that comes up. We're simply just observing. We're becoming aware of what communication is coming up right now. And in this moment, gently repeat to yourself those affirmations that you had in mind before. Feel free to have a new one right now, or a new one or two. It can be anything at all. It could be, I am me. I am slowing down right now as a way to take care of myself. I am doing something for me right now. I am practicing self-love, self-compassion, repeating affirmations to yourself, and feel free to repeat them one more time, or each if there's more than one. And gently open the eyes if they're closed. Inhale the shoulders up to the ears. Exhale as you roll them back down. Inhale the shoulders up to the ears and do another roll back down. Beautiful. All right, so let's come down onto our mats. I'm gonna have a block nearby, but let's just kind of stretch out the hips one last time here. Let's come into Baddha Konasana, bound angle. So feel free to have a blanket underneath your seat if that feels good for you. You can even have blocks or items underneath your knees if they're really far up from the ground. See if you can open up your feet like a book. If that feels good to you, you can even move the feet out into a diamond. Just find a comfortable way to do bound angle and just gently move the knees up and down. Feel free to even rock left and right here. Kind of play around a little bit here. You can kind of, a butterfly, as we probably called them when we were younger, which is really, really great for releasing the hips. And just gently still the movement, sitting tall, adding length into your spine. Bring the chest out ever so slightly, the sternum out. Shoulders back as much as you can, just trying to add length. Inhale everything up. Exhale as you fold forward. And you can round at the end. Feel free to add a blanket or a bolster or anything on your feet if you just kind of want to lay here for a little bit. And it actually adds some really nice pressure to the feet as well. You can just kind of bring your forehead down onto a pillow or a folded blanket or a block, whatever feels good to you. We'll stay here for a little bit. Wherever you are, see if you can relax the jaw. Maybe even open the jaw a few times if that feels good to you. If that does not call to you, feel free to even do a little bit of a jaw massage. You can take your hands, come to that place where if you open the mouth, you can kind of feel where the muscles are on the side. And feel free to just kind of rub those in circles, giving yourself a bit of a self-massage here, which is also an act of self-love and self-compassion. You can use your thumbs to kind of help loosen the muscles, especially if you hold a lot of tension in your jaw. Feel free to do a forehead massage or at the temples. So anywhere that you hold tension in the face, feel free to just bring the fingertips and give yourself a tiny massage, just doing some slight movements, if that feels good to you right now. Others like to do tapping, where you can kind of gently tap the areas that are really tense. So you can kind of just gently take your index fingers and your middle fingers and you can just kind of tap. So whatever feels good to you, or you don't have to do any of these at all. Keeping that breath moving. Relaxing the head and the neck. Relaxing the shoulders away from the ears. And slowly, slowly start to bring the hands back to the body. When you get to the top, shrug the shoulders up to the ears and back down. You can do that again, shrugging the shoulders up and back down. You can gently remove any props if you place any props on your feet. Gently use the hands to bring the knees together. And then come onto one side of your hips. And I'm going to give us a few options for how to sit. We're going to do a very brief sound throat sort of meditation. So for some of you, it may feel good to, I'll show you from the side. I'm sitting really on my heels. This isn't the best for everyone's body. So you can always place a pillow or a blanket kind of underneath the seat. If this is just not working at all, then just simply sit on your seat. You can sit cross-legged. You can bring your knees out in front of you. I'm going to sit in a cross-legged position on the edge of a block. And if you even want to lie down, you can actually lie down here as well. So around the theme of communication today, even though we really focus on communication with the self, it's always nice to kind of work a little bit with the throat, right? And for those who are interested in chakras or energetics, this is the Vishuddha chakra, the throat chakra. So we're just going to take just a few moments just to kind of play around with sound and really adding in some vibration into the body through sound. And sound can be really powerful for also getting rid of energy that is stuck in the body. Sometimes we even feel like we have a lump in our throat, or we can have that feeling of tightness. And sometimes just kind of getting it out. And this can even be through singing. It can be through like just humming. So we're going to kind of play around with just humming and also kind of like some sighs, some sort of loud, audible sighs. So just breathe normally in here. I'm going to demonstrate the first sort of sound meditation. And I like to use meditation because it's a way for us to focus on the sound that we're making. It allows for us to bring a focal point. It's just simply to kind of do this like buzzing hum. So there is a buzzing type of meditation that is done where you kind of close off your senses and you buzz. So I'm not going to be doing that. I'm going to be kind of freestyling it a little bit differently so that we can hear. We're not necessarily shutting out the other senses. So it's simply going to be to make kind of like a buzzing noise, like a all right, so that might sound different for you. I felt that vibration in my mouth, in my body, and it might kind of tickle a little bit. Feel free to back off if you start to get that sensation, but we're just going to do it for a few seconds, okay? So just to kind of get out any stuck energy in the throat, which is also linked a lot to communication to ourselves and to others. All right, so just for about, let's say like 15 seconds, all right? Let's do like a buzz, like a like that type of sound, all right? Big inhale in. Big exhale out. Inhale in and hum. And if it naturally fades like mine did, then that can signal the end of that. All right, great job. Last thing we're going to do, and feel free to play around with that on your own if you kind of want to sort of loosen up the throat a little bit. Other thing is going to do an audible sigh, so where we inhale in through the nose, big sigh up. And feel free to like slump over and just release, right? So inhaling in, slump over. One last time. Inhale in, big inhale in through the abdomen. And gently rise back up. I also recommend in your own time, singing is a wonderful way to release any blockages as well. All right, beautiful, beautiful work. Let's come onto our backs. When you come onto your backs, feel free to bring the knees into the chest, giving yourself a tight squeeze. You can rock left and right, massaging the spine. And then when you're ready, coming into your final pose of Shavasana, grabbing any blocks or props that you need. Hands out to the side. And simply letting the mat or the ground support you here. See where you can let go of the need to hold yourself up. Slowly start to deepen the breath, bringing movement into the body, wiggling the fingers, wiggling the toes, stretching arms up overhead, legs out in front of you. Rolling onto either side, coming into a fetal position, taking a moment to collect your breath here. And then finding a comfortable seated position on your mat. Palms together at the heart, the eyes can be closed or a soft gaze open. Giving gratitude to yourself for showing up to your yoga practice. Giving gratitude to your mind, your body, and your breath. And giving gratitude to those in your lives that show up for you. And if the heart has any more room in it today, spreading that gratitude out to your neighbors, to your city, to your state. You have more room, perhaps out to the whole country. If you have even more room, perhaps out to the whole world and the universe. May you find those moments during the day that you can speak kindly to yourself and to others. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. It is always an honor to share this practice with all of you. Namaste. Thank you, everyone. Definitely make sure to hydrate, especially after some of those throat openings that we did and the Kundalini twist. So definitely hydrate. And I hope to see you in the future for Lunar Flow, which is on every Thursday at 5:30, and it'll be different depending on the moon. All right. Have a good evening.